Ever wonder where all the money to combat climate change comes from and where it goes? Welcome to the intriguing world of climate finance. This isn't just about dollar signs and balance sheets, it's about safeguarding our planet's future. Climate finance is the funding committed to projects that mitigate the effects of climate change and further adaptation efforts. Imagine a colossal global fund, a pot of money dedicated to creating cleaner energy sources, developing resilient infrastructures, and preserving our precious ecosystems. This fund is not a luxury, it's an absolute necessity. Without it, the battle against climate change would be like a ship without a rudder, directionless and doomed. Climate finance is more than just an economic term. It's a commitment, a promise to future generations that we are taking decisive action today for a healthier, safer tomorrow. So in essence, climate finance is the lifeblood that fuels the engine of global climate action. But how does climate finance work, you ask? Let's dive right in. At its core, climate finance revolves around financial investments and incentives that promote environmentally friendly practices. It's not just about direct funding. It's also about creating economic conditions that favor renewable energy, sustainable agriculture, and other green initiatives. The flow of funds in climate finance is an essential aspect that we must discuss. Generally, resources flow from developed countries, which have more financial muscle, to developing countries. The latter are often more vulnerable to climate change and have fewer resources to combat its effects. This transfer of funds helps these susceptible nations adapt to climate change and transition towards a greener, more sustainable future. But where does the private sector fit into this picture? Well, it plays a crucial role. Private companies are increasingly investing in green technologies and initiatives. They're not just being environmentally conscious, they're also seizing lucrative opportunities. After all, going green is not just good for the planet, it's good for business too. Now let's talk about the various sources of climate finance. There are numerous international mechanisms designed to facilitate the flow of climate finance. One of the most significant is the Green Climate Fund. Established under the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, it's a global pot of money contributed by various countries to help developing nations respond to climate change. But it's not alone. There are other mechanisms too, like the Adaptation Fund and the Global Environment Facility, each playing its unique role in this intricate financial ecosystem. Thus, climate finance is a complex, multifaceted system that's essential for enabling countries, especially those most vulnerable, to respond to climate change. Now, let's appreciate the impact of climate finance. In the grand scheme of things, climate finance is a catalyst for change, a force for good that is already reshaping our world. It's creating ripples of positive change, touching various sectors and areas of our lives. Take renewable energy projects, for example. Climate finance is instrumental in the growth and development of this sector, driving the transition to a cleaner, more sustainable future. It's helping us harness the power of the wind, sun, and sea, turning them into renewable resources that light up our homes and power our industries. Then there's climate-resilient infrastructure. Thanks to climate finance, we're building smarter, more resilient structures that can withstand the ravages of climate change. We're talking about flood-resistant urban planning, drought-resistant agriculture, coastal defense systems, and much more. Let's not forget reforestation efforts. Climate finance is breathing life back into our world, one tree at a time. It's helping us restore forests, protect wildlife habitats, and preserve biodiversity. And these are just a few examples. Climate finance is also fueling other mitigation and adaptation initiatives, all of which are crucial for a sustainable, low-carbon future. Indeed, every dollar invested in climate finance is a step towards a more resilient and sustainable world. But what does the future hold for climate finance? It's a question we all must ponder as we confront the escalating challenges of climate change. The road ahead is fraught with obstacles, but also brimming with opportunities. To weather the storm, climate finance will need a substantial influx of funding. The scope of the problem demands it. Yet more money is not the only answer. We must also strive for greater transparency and better allocation of resources to ensure every penny is put to good use. But it's not all about numbers. The future of climate finance also hinges on our ability to innovate. Technology has a pivotal role to play here. It can help us streamline processes, improve efficiency, and unlock new solutions to old problems. From blockchain for transparent transactions to AI for predicting climate patterns, the possibilities are as vast as they are exciting. The journey ahead won't be easy, but remember, the stakes have never been higher. As our battle against climate change intensifies, so too will the importance of climate finance in shaping a sustainable future.